So the New Patriotic Party currently in India, mean what is really happening to them. But in this particular news about it is clearly something it is really a big blow to them. Now, in Sembe Nababe Tuja, and yeah, that's sorry, the High Court in Ghana have ordered a rerun of the Pandai seat. Currently, seat is currently being occupied by NPP MP. I've heard Matthew Nyindam. Now, in say a year, sir. Seat in some eba after the just ended 2024 election and acquire court akwaniaba. But as always, no MPP for Eddie Takashi and Omukotna seat so. Nevertheless, no in some more courts near the court came and says, no, we have the final say. And no, yes, no, never say, constituency, no, yes, na constituency, no, they have to come to your friend is saying, an agreement and answer a conclusion, say, Senna seats, no, MPP, MP, every no, it is very questionable, and it's because of that, so young call for era. Now, NPP, so NDC, at the press statement, they are jubilating, we'll be showing that particular video on the screens very soon. And NPP for so a quarter. They've ordered the Omujanya court. They are praying to the court for a stay of execution. Say in summer courts on the abano, basically courts nankasa no on saying freeze and also holding on with the judgments, no, whilst they appeal the case. But quickly, no, it's answer way a breaking news, no, young court city news, the picking it up. Files appeal seeks to stay of rerun order. It's now on senior can MP now. Or occupies a particular seat, no, a incumbent MP, no, who is a member of Parliament of Pandai, no, or filing notices of appeal, and also a stay of execution against the High Courts, in Tamalia, or Muma order and say, yen sound quiet a rerun of the election, on the constituency Pandai. Now, ye back down while or say the High Court has mandated a rerun within 30 days following procedural irregularities at the collation center during the initial election. So, Sisiano election course, so ewo Pandai no amushe mu NDC for the Kodai court. So, call shame na court news and no. Near course, so any choir ye fast to declare sa particular results no a idea emu rem kakra. And based on that, no, what really happened is that I was say your friend is saying ye every run of that particular constituency because kwanya first to declare anyhow things went, so it did not go in accordance with the EC's own rules and regulations, and because of that, so court within 30 days, no. Almost another election rerun. Na yen to aso na yen hwe de down ha say. Or say the ruling favored the NDC candidate Daniel Nsala Wakpai, citing breaches of electoral procedures that affected his right to participate. By filing the appeals, Mr. Nyindam seeks to challenge the court's verdict and temporarily halt the execution of the rerun pending the outcome of the appeal. This ruling has favored the NDC candidate Daniel Nsala Wakpai. Now or they in some court say a electoral procedure so no organized election it affected him because man find the right procedure to court in no and a court naka say indeed in some na opposition candidate Daniel Nsala or debe tujan yampa and a see a ruling when a favor your friend is saying the NDC candidate na ebra on channel 1 TV ekasa Haruna Mohammed, who happened to be the deputy secretary of the New Patriotic Party, or explaining say sa ruling we are abano idea or meaning and they are going to court to pray for a stay of execution and also tell the court say irregularities now NDC for and a court citing say happy and also they are citing say courts no kind of so a bar into with their final verdict. So that verdict itself, it is flawed. Now, TRC, also before the proceedings began, I was there along with the other lawyers. Immediately the computer was open, the judgment was already there. I was surprised because we are not even arguing the case in court. When we saw what we saw outside was all the big wigs of the NDC jubilating before the judgment came out. He said, it's MPP for a part say what really happened was more of a procedural breach in court because courts before a judgment can't send we na judge ABA the computer pen also run Ebra or maintain the other side argument. NPP for no side argument. You know, NPP for a believe said there were lots of procedural breaches at a course. So now yenti I see, and I shall say, mame. Menoka say NPP for Menoka say no. Omo buefu. NPP for buefu and NDC buefu. So this particular video question, it is giving us an instance. They were happy, saying say this particular verdict abano clearly obvious say they will win this election because so far everything is in their favor. The economy is going well for people, and people just want change. And the fact say akwakoye party or power no obia pempun true. And because said you NPP ni was obebua kra na ahia no obebua, but the NDC ni no ba obetimi esanse na buy na power mu no obetima ya ma certain development ebeba omo constituency. So that is exactly what is really going on. Ti yenko tie some of the message if NDC for executives are almost storming the court premises, arguing said this ruling that came, it is something that favors them, is something that they are happy with, and then also the NPP should get ready for a by-election. We are grateful
to the courts for having done justice to the good people of Pandai. All along, the NDC has been saying that there are several crooked electoral officers who are bent on stealing people's mandate. And one of it is what has been exposed today. We said it time and again that the seat of Pandai was the seat for the NDC. They rigged the election, and we've been saying it time and again that we will continue to expose crooked electoral officers who will continue to rig election. We will stop them. We will make sure that the NDC will prevent such rigging machinery of the then NPP and their crooked collaborators in the Electoral Commission. Clearly, the CI 127, if you look at Regulation 43, 1A up to H, spell out how collation of parliamentary election is done. You collate results based on two forms. We have from 1C and then from 1D. You assemble the results from 1C and then put the summaries on from 1D and declare the results. This was not done. They didn't do that. They just organized themselves, ran to Tamale, cooked some results, and announced Nindam as a parliamentary candidate elect. This is what they did. And that is why we made sure that we follow through the process. The NDC is the most lawful political party in Ghana. We didn't use lawless means to get this verdict. We made sure that we follow through the process, and we have gotten favorable judgment. I can assure you, we are appealing to our opponents, the NPP. They shouldn't come for the by-election because we will hand them some heavy defeat. If they if they still want to have some kind of respect to the good people of Ghana, they should chicken out how they chicken out in Tamale Central. Otherwise, our election machinery, you can see my regional minister is here, my presidential staffer, my candidate is here. We are going home. I'm sending the verdict back to National Secretariat. We are going to prepare. They've given us 30 days. We are ready. Even tomorrow, we are ready for it. We are going to make sure that the seat will return to NDC within 30 days. We are happy. We are grateful to Pandal people for their patience. We assure them that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will continue to do the goodies for them. We'll continue to do whatever we are doing and to make sure that proper representation of NDC is done in the Pandal constituency. We are grateful.
So this was in Sema NDC executives are now on the party headquarters, a bra ruling in Bayano. These were their reaction. Now, one of the things I want you to note in all of these things is that the NPP already have rejected, say, some verdicts are court by election rerun. They don't accept it. So they are going to court basically to pray to the court. Say, yeah, more must stay of execution, number one. And two, we should look at the case again because some argument is that more courts, ma more chance. So explain opposing side, man argument. They did not give him the chance. They did not give the incumbent NPP party any one normally defendants NPP for. They didn't give them the chance. And what we say, BB if you be computer so na be schedule the computer ni verdict. And according to them, computer no so no verdict was crowded that and sana on court, which means say as a court no or for more dream. So yen share the reaction outside courts of some of the NDC executives NPP executives they are saying that this is a bad news and then they will appeal Babaka could say the incumbent MP himself.
What these guys are saying, nothing will change.
Nothing will change. Nothing will change. Maybe it's round of who still want them. Nothing will change.
If I'm beating you,
Nothing. Nothing will change.
and then the court said we should go and rerun. You have not won any of them. So then we should go back. What shows that you can win? The worst is going to be that maybe because of the incumbency and other things, people will not even have interest in going to vote again. That may be the challenge. Otherwise, we will still beat him, and nothing will change. So what is going to be that?
Nothing will change.
Our problem is maybe I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to talk law. The lawyer will come and talk the law. Means that we can still win.
So this was the argument and the reactions coming from NPP executives. But then the main incumbent himself, na ono in some way elkoso no wababe react. And according to him, no, BP niema na elkoso no omeni ente ho. Okay, they have every right. They have if anything, every right to get angry because the court basically, according to them, did not follow the due process in making sure that this case, the verdict goes in favor of them. So basically, what they are doing here is that they are saying, hey, we are not happy with this, and at the end of the day, you know, we will go for an appeal. You could see the incumbent MP, Honorable Daniel Insala Wakpa, or in some way, Etuja say. They will appeal the case and also know they are not happy with the verdict court at the Aba because in some of the ABB. Young question video of what the MP said because currently on our NPP MP. So you're caught by elections now HSA I'm calling in favor, which means the seats have been flipped, which means NDC no majority no about a super majority. Every video here better also.
Thank you very much. Let me use this opportunity to thank my teaming supporters for supporting me throughout the proceedings. For us, we saw irregularities and we brought it to the court. And the court has ruled. I want to use this opportunity to thank my lawyers. Kudos for the good job they have done. We are prepared to get to the ground, prepare for the election, and at the end of the day, you know what my election director said? We want to set the ball rolling, and the seat will return back to NDC. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me use this opportunity to thank my teaming supporters for supporting me throughout the proceedings. For us, we saw irregularities and we brought it to the court. And the court has ruled.
Okay. All right, so actually, that was in summer a year. Sorry, the NDC, you know, an NDC incumbent or the Betuja, and definitely, there's been many reactions. Because share some of the reactions. Abba, I just say, according to Penny 4, any lawyers could damn no, any also the lawyer or call ya. Okohini case no or party say yes in some way of course no it is a very good thing because at the end of the day it just shows say election a course work pandai no it's the results nearby and it was flawed nyama be break or so enye. So today the court realized no, it is high time they do what is right and they force the electoral commission, which is the sole agency mandated to conduct elections in this country, to conduct their elections. So that is exactly what is really going on. Here, we'll share just a brief one of a year in summer, of course. So especially in regards with some reactions, if he a top politicians, swaba in regards with this case. Here, Babaka, we will definitely move on to another very important issue. It's in the yanko na it is a yankuti exactly what the lawyer for a year nipeya it is say for NDC a opposition or no opposition. I just winning ya me no can say no. There's been a lot of reaction video back a bit to us.
Designated the the
coalition center okay
to another place. Tell me say I don't know why Benjamin into to me and coalition exercise also. That was clearly a breach of law. And the candidate, they don't know where the coalition exercise took place and did not take part very well against the CI. And imagine say we allowed this to stand as a president. Okay, and Krahakra, Yabaya coalition exercise baby in some of the affected women, they went for a court order. Because the East does not have that power to redesignate or recollect at a different center other than the agreed center without notifying the candidate. And now, candidates also the specific grievances or specific police stations at the concourse and say, what is Manequaya? And I say, easy Manequaya, or the South or play Vina or be raising or collecting center. Now, overall, no, also the breach of the natural justice right. Now, also the distraction of BVRs, it would have even been impossible for some of the irregularities to have been even investigated. So, our address, written address I did to court, was very simple. That on the grounds of breach of natural justice, any other things, of course, the only recourse available was to rerun the election. Now, Nyago Bradom, in that court, and what is even significant, and what was very, very striking, and I will make available EC4 or more representative, district electoral officer. That gentleman is a very, very dangerous gentleman, or you're very biased. Who is the officer? What about election? How do you side with one side? Now, what about box back? I said, who will evidence there? Or your NDC candidate in the assigning for your chair, Kamu, your mobile coalition center, say, your mama, dismantle your ma, a quasi commotion. A buyer, you can't tell me, say, your video tuning now, and across examination. And the child said, pointing the ear over who NDC candidates are only this for as someone yeta and one month now cast on one. So to be appointed Bakukra. Secondly, who as the neutral, somebody who is supposed to be a neutral person in this whole exercise, you are taking sides, and I will say, all running election perfectly. There was no breach, there was nothing. And that it is the NDC candidate who should be at fault. Because I don't know small Professor Mendisa is money. How will you be neutral? Yabisha also said, who say who not TV, a national TV, Brad December no cost. Now one now say who relocate sector no Nana NDC party representatives, candidate party representatives produce evidence that say who inform me because object to say or getting in our phone number. And no name the beer it's to be from you can't tell say catch the court and I check court evidence was said for a candidate and that's how catch a candidate say because of your man cost to Hananti who relocate Tanako Tamale or to be a producer evidence. Yeah. It was that this was an election officer who was compromised. But and he was the cause of the mayhem in Pandai.
But lawyer, are the new coalition center now is Nikreti or Tamalino?
Yes.
Now NDC candidate, not a rep ewo.
No, because no name. That was the complaint. That was at the heart of our complaint.
Into coalition, a course and
I'll give you proceedings,
okay,
so that you can look at the cross examination.
Okay.
We bank in our FM collecting center. What to me, I'm say security.
Okay, so that is the issue. It just says yeah, the updates no abremo no. Yentwa so it's here for some few weeks ago, exactly somewhere. I think last month, muho, and yet video we be tuja October 29th to be precise. Now video no, it is about a military man of visiting a pharmacy. Now a bro call no pa say was sumo bi ama nipa no was sumo we di kan sumo bi ama nipa na ba beto edru ama nipa no edru na nipa de buy and as a price no ene de open we nya it was sound ni osan so esuma nipa ne so ombeji scan nipa ne say na pharmacist ne say yen sesa edru e wo pharmacy nti oba wa ena ono nkasa eji edru no ena oba say chinchina china obeji ni sika nti oba na lady bi so gina wa auto edru as you can see on the screens. And a lady, a giant lady, papa, you buy ya, it's a UTA voice now. Give me my money, give me my money, give me my money. Into a give me my money, so, bring your botre. A while, lady say, who are you to, papa say, who are you to talk? Any asumbo, what you say? Asumbo, panya, any lady need the GB pa, and or some trua, guy knew each other sheen in you, so adanya. Or a military man. In fact, we show video no create do chabons at the point in time cry no a year no and now in minim say any you but as will be an on nam eba can oh calm down. Minoka papa you know he has been arrested and Minoka said there's been an update about him no air just say courts ebra military police fortune because same be say eba na akwe a soldier for military police for enomudi hu djuma Minoka say you know courts court amount bail of 70,000 Ghana cedis with 2 sureties. So all these were na papa no our prisoner. Me no say you know and any amount bail 70,000 with 2 sureties. Now yemfa we into screens no so we are near share the update involved because in some way in fact the video now showing it just tells you how Ghana for some people take the laws into their own hands. Now, what should I say? Or say Williams Mensah, soldier caught on CCTV assaulting a pharmacy attendant and female customer near Bemakam, granted 70,000 cedis bail with 2 sureties. So this is the update about papaya na or show video na share the oye or bob papa ni su nyina ewie ye is amount for buy any ade no ultimately no the next day and a military police for ekoche no sin na midi kan ekan this video a yedi kan aye aka wonsem on this particular platform ti omo chi ni wie ye no and I just say omo wie ye no omo de no ekọ court as a court no finally no court remanded no all these while but finally no court aman 70,000 cedis bail with 2 sureties and clearly you go see say papa no the oye na enye but as to whether the courts because aman the bail no the proceedings will go on and we are learning say lady ni involved no cry no ni papa a soldier for mo masha it say omo no mo chiche nkofo omo nye omo make sure discipline e course e wo Bema camp ho it no clearly the case ni there a case en jemu cry there be omutuemu akopim time asabi onyankopon ebeba. And so that is the issue here involved. Now yebeto aso no me no ka say no insembi aba insema aba no pache say na no yete say ye kwa akoye ye friend sen papa ni video na mbesre yento aso na no information eba say ye chief justice na ene me no ka say no opinimu ana lawyer Penia na okanwa omo petition yen Tadio sorry or the ababe tuja say Afoyo Markins was one of the reasons why the client petition saying yi chief justice tokonu yenko ti se wonu ankasa tuja KSM show no so ye ba ebeto aso.
Apart from the disrespect to the nominee, it even went further to affect another justice, the most senior justice of the day, Justice Puamang, who was the chairman of the committee that recommended that the Chief Justice be removed. To some extent, I would blame Justice Puamang because, as I have said, I think I've said here or somewhere, that his own report is the problem. The minority leader was one of the reasons why I petitioned, or my client petitioned for the removal of the Chief Justice. There was a huge count which mentioned his name and mentioned the acts that formed the basis of our petition. What was this count? We said he had set a precedent, in fact, a record in the court by being the only party or being the only person who within 2 hours was able to get a full panel of the Supreme Court presided over by the erstwhile Chief Justice, to give him orders that, by the scope of the application before the court, no court of in the world of the common law jurisdiction will give him. Now, in the course of all of those proceedings and after, people who knew the two of them spoke to me and they said, don't you understand? That is his sister. The removed Chief Justice is his sister. When
sister in terms of
they come from the same place.
Okay.
1, 2. When her father died, the minority leader hosted her visitors, and people who were there called me. So in some of the, if I had attended the next proceedings, the next person against whom I was going to raise that objection was the Chief Justice. I said, all of these arguments we are having back and forth, and you are literally descending into the arena of conflict, is because somebody that you are close to is the plaintiff in this particular matter. Who was the plaintiff? It is Afenyomakin. 2, there is now information coming out that there are services being rendered in the judicial service which are linked to Afenyomakin. He's rendering those services and getting commercial profits from them, and huge ones. And so at this point in time, when Afenyomakin is making it look like, okay, there's a national public interest aspect of all of this nomination process, and there's some dispute and all of that, it has nothing to do with a minority position. He sold it out to his colleagues to believe that, well, we all have to take a collective position against this, but it is a personal interest. And so the facts that we have show that you have an interest in her being there. And so he's crying louder than every other person because he has an interest in the woman being there. I think they should look at this whole idea of prior approval. That the Constitution didn't say vetting; it said prior approval of Parliament. There ought to be another way of, when they look at your CV and they've done your background checks, if they are calling you for any vetting, then there are specific areas they want you to clarify. Otherwise, Parliament should do an acclamation and you go. And then if you go and you can't deliver, your appointer is there, he will sack you. Yeah. But they keep all of us glued to television. And we are sitting down there and watching a process that 95% of is a joke. If the AG says he wants a docket now, and you can have an excuse, and the AG is getting jittery, you can understand that you have even told Ghanaians that way back you tried to stop the man because you had reasons to stop him. 1 year into a regime, you are still investigating. So what is the basis for seeking to stop him previously? And the Constitution is very clear. Some people even still think that his position is untenable in view of the Constitution. But there's a small provision in it that I understand. In his enabling enactment, it is stated clearly that he can prosecute on the authorization of the AG. So how can it be then that he's on equal footing with the AG?
That the AG has authorized?
Absolutely. In his enabling enactment, the OSP's enabling enactment, he can prosecute with the authorization of the AG. So it's not as if it's between he and the AG. There's a split of power. The power is in the AG. So it is not, it's clear in my mind that he can't say, oh, there seems to be, he has to acknowledge that the AG, insofar as his work is concerned, is the overall, is the repository of power. Yeah. OSP shall be independent. OSP shall be independent. And so you see in the first line of his section 4, so they say, oh, he shall not be subject to the direction and control. I say, right following that, then they say that he shall prosecute on the authorization of the AG subject to Article 88. Wow. Because the AG's powers are not from the statute, from an act of parliament. They are from the Constitution. So he has overriding power. And the Constitution says that every criminal proceeding in this country shall be instituted by the Attorney General. How can an act of parliament take that away from the AG? That is not, it can't be correct. The AG is the overriding center of power insofar as criminal prosecution is concerned. And the act that establishes the OSP acknowledges it. So let's have some clarity on it, and let's have some humility in terms of power. If he acknowledges that, I'm sure he will work very well with the AG, and he doesn't have to explain to us that we're friends and we understand what we are doing. It's not what you are doing. You do what the law says you should do. Nobody cares what your relationship with him is. How this OSP from 2014 to 2015, when they said there shall be an OSP who will make sure that all of this is dead, and we are seeing nothing. We are only seeing talk, and talk which doesn't add up, talk which is only annoying. So I told him at that time he should shut up and do his work. Apart from the disrespect to the nominee, it even went further to affect another justice, the most senior justice of the day, Justice Puamang, who was the chairman of the committee that recommended that the Chief Justice be removed. To some extent, I would blame Justice Puamang, because as I have said, I think I've said here or somewhere, that his own report is the problem. The minority leader was one of the reasons why I petitioned, or my client petitioned for the removal of the Chief Justice. There was a huge count which mentioned his name and mentioned the acts that formed the basis of our petition. What was this count? We said he had set a precedent, in fact, a record in the court by being the only party or being the only person who within 2 hours was able to get a full panel of the Supreme Court, presided over by the erstwhile Chief Justice, to give him orders that, by the scope of the application before the court, no court in the world in the common law jurisdiction will give him. Now, in the course of all of those proceedings and after, people who knew the two of them spoke to me and they said, don't you understand? That is his sister. The removed Chief Justice is his sister. When
Sister in terms of,
they come from the same place.
Okay.
1, 2, when her father died, the minority leader hosted her visitors, and people who were there called me. So in some of if I had attended the next proceedings, the next person against whom I was going to raise that objection was the Chief Justice. I said, all of these arguments we are having back and forth, and you are literally descending into the arena of conflict, is because somebody that you are close to is the plaintiff in this particular matter. Who was the plaintiff? It is Afenyomakin. 2, there is now information coming out that there are services being rendered in the judicial service which are linked to Afenyomakin. He's rendering those services and getting commercial profits from them, and huge ones. And so at this point in time, when Afenyomakin is making it look like, okay, there's a national public interest aspect of all of this nomination process, and there's some dispute and all of that, it has nothing to do with a minority position. He sold it out to his colleagues to believe that, well, we all have to take a collective position against this.
So that is the whole issue at Air Course in regards with Afenyomakin's and a year petitioner a buy. Now let's move on to the camp of Okonfo Agrada. So what is really happening at the camp of Okonfo Agrada? Ni kunu Mr. Siama odin simbi ababe tuja say na new visiting yire ewo prison or visiting yire ewo prison yire e ka chensi ani din asani din. And this tells you that things are really hot for Agrada pa prisoner wono. I don't know, but then if she doesn't change in prison, I don't believe she's going to change again. But then Nikunu make his emotional plea during a church broadcast. It's young court Ninkuti in Sema a year Isiama Edituja a babaka. We have some updates about TikTok abia the boyfriend Nikuno and also your videos and updates. Ewaha yedbe brem right here on this particular platform. But then before then, Inti in Sema a year Mr. Isiama Edituja. When we come back, we will continue with this particular update.
Oh, may the stamp Sisuha. Yes. And in that some say, would he can't catch them? Say, dear, a honor, you're changing it. Okay. And he say, need new name. What do you want a honor, dear? Evangelist Josephine Esiama.
Bonsem Kasiema Semno.
AKA Mama Parts. AKA Asemono. Was this in the no?
Okay.
Your friend Evangelist Josephine Esiama. AKA Mama Parts. Power. Edim fufro. Inti ekasachira wo se enema aye fufro.
Amen.
We are any baby I was a din piano. Edi suban fufro edi breno.
Yes.
Na me ba anadwo na me dwene ho se mami ade na edi Josephine ato ne din so. E na me kai se ene e was start Joseph adwuma ne bi e wo ehonom.
Oh sem kase pa me hinta sabno. Cause
what you say?
Oh yes.
Ampa so. Was starting Usunda Yebina one Uko wo ka kire no.
And yeah.
Joseph san the toes.
The toe no.
Enti ni nyame som no emu aye tene.
Cause
Enti edin fufura bre no. Ena obofo no kura o sira Jacob no o change ni dini wan san ni dini e kasa kire o se enhire bi abana bra bomu a enu nti asesa ni dini power. And say Evangelist Josephine Esiama sa
Bonsem Kasiema Dino. God bless you.
Ready and insidan kan dini.
Amen.
Say Ebenezer baby odia be wie no.
Aw.
Eyi ani so.
Aw.
And what tire kan ho. Was it remember me in prayers?
Yes.
Everything that has become Goliath in my case.
Oh Jesus.
Okay, so this was in Sema Eye Agrada Nikunu Edibetuja. Now let's move on with this particular case because it's very important to me. Minukas information be about Betuja said TikTok personality be a friend the biggest abina Ikuno, the boyfriend Ikuno. Now we are learning say the boyfriend Ikuno, your friend Sylvester Sowa. We did 27 years or te a bumpe a new site. Now, in share idea we and in read the old screen, we are in video. Say TikTok personality biggest Abena has allegedly been killed by her boyfriend, identified as 27-year-old Sylvester Sowa at a bumpe at a bumpy new site on November 19, 2025. According to preliminary reports, the incident occurred after she reportedly informed him of a decision to end the relationship, citing concerns over his alleged substance abuse. So basically, leading here part say nibu fuye on any boyfriend and on any wo nibu fuye na de bia no mensa wo shiwi ni niema ite na boy nibu fuye it is him dey see ya we could girl nice girls we could not to attract so called TikToker it did different biggest abna. But we have a video of how the friends narrated how all of these things happen. Media for a call mon change video baba ke beto us.
And you remember 10 something. Me honum na boy no na yawo ne wo fa e frame wo phone to say be hu ma abna na me say that o say na me nim say ma abna ewu na me say say me na aka ne say ma abna si dey ewu o say ai o honum na ne wo fa se ne friend say wo pia ma wona ma abna e ko na wo pia no ma abna ti abo ho no ama wo na me say enti say o mo wo he fa ko say be ens ni mitirim ne ma abna ka say awie say na ma abna ewu nti omo wo hefa na so omo neighborhood hospital nti yembra ho no na me frame na onfo nyina so mo besen me yonko nti ya fa pragia ene ye ko na me friend say ye bedru neighborhood no omo wo hefa osian omo se omo de ne ko police station am say pragia na say baby ohun say obi ewu ama ye difunu asa akusan ye check police station nti na hefa na me so da misiro no ma yenko ho e bia na omo bohua ko ho no ye ko na obi ani ho no and yes, our friend say, Yaku be any one of them, and here for party, and I see a more. I see a more than a heaven. I said, make we are now to your chinesa. Into me, I call my baby. I'm castle the member saying, uncle, yes, I'm trap against me at the coy. The coin you beside, Osikina, Osiki say, a ball 7, a cooking Saka, my coina, a move for a movie and my honor. And to me, the me free. The friend can on Fabian, I'm born, and Mamma down for say, on friend. Or friend now no fine obisa say I didn't know yes sir. I didn't know to yes sir. When you must nim put in oh yes sir. And so yeah no catch and say oh one of the catch am some dey come watching so no nim say heaven gates na. Eh yes say. No say na he fa biem na yenko. Omo say na ye mesin ko government hospital. Ti ma na for kwa da ne bufu catch and say your government hospital no one ma do be di no. Eh see it maybe I run prank here. Nti ye na say my ensan kwa na ye fa car na ensan kwa. Nti eju wonom no. Not a police car any pick up BAP abontin. And I me year na me stop police car na me bisa na say me sere no. Omo the lady bi aba ha me say ya na. No bisa ya say lady me friend anything. And I me say Charlotte. No so ye ndi na chi me say police station hono. And ye san to aso police station hono. Nti ye duru wono mo no. And ye ka che na say me sere no. Omo say omo ko lady bi. Na ya down phone no. Also look because rega na busuafo. And I'm say me say na me yi me phone na me yi get ni video share na say e ye get we ya na. I said the way incident in scene na nim kura no. Want me picture by the body ni dey asese. I'm say hey. Let me say no only picture na e find chle me. Say madam for na. Oyi picture na get on the full picture na oda one me say na 9 na acha tell me say Australia ya so na oh. I'm say me what any me here. So you dey my shit. Oyi na me na be na madam for na. Madam for na one place na me na break. Say that because of piano girl. The piano, the piano boss, the piano. When you piano. What must I want to tell me? So they are never boy, you know, so they will be to me.
So this was the unfortunate incident in Sia, which has got a lot of people talking because this shouldn't be happening to anyone. And believe say Ghana police is now doing a perfect job. They are investigating the matter. They will investigate the matter, and in due course, no, they will come out with something better. At the end of the day, no, we'll all see. Say if the man truly is guilty, justice, ebeba. So that is the issue. Our course to Sia. Now let's move on with this particular issue. Sabria Minoka say UK citizen be edin simbi ababe tuja. Ochemu dinti Ghana for a mopesa moku UK and Great Britain no each and every time you guys are rejected. Now this is trending because many people did not know this and people believe say maybe UK for na almost had a bounce Ghana for no say they be usha statistics ni mo UK and I want more apply so or more apply for UK visa and Nigeria for more apply for UK visa no the bouncing rate and I say rate one more visa no yes sa rate na Ghana for doors see Nigeria for ne ban say ne doors see Nigeria for Nigeria for say they don't have a real good record in UK ho and a woman na ababichim yen show ni video tiawai ye babaka. We will continue with more other issues. Menoka said no so no trend right here in Ghana.
So what are Nigerians doing that Ghanaians are not? Let's talk about UK visas. Nigerians are not getting approved because they're lucky. They're getting approved because they prepare their applications differently. Here's the difference. 1. They tell a clear story. When they apply, their documents match their purpose. If they're going for school, the school fees, accommodation plan and bank statements all align. No confusion, no guesswork. 2. They don't hide their money. A lot of Ghanaians try to borrow money for their statement or inflate their account at the last minute. Embassies see that immediately. Nigerians show real income, even if it's not plenty. Consistency is stronger than a big balance. 3. They explain their ties back home. They show their job, business, family responsibilities, basically why they will return. This is the part many Ghanaians skip. 4. They invest in proper guidance. They ask questions, they get help, they don't guess and hope for the best. So the real question is not why are Nigerians getting approved? The question is, are you presenting your case clearly? Your approval is not about luck. It's about clarity, consistency, and your story. If you want help preparing your documents the right way, send us a message. Your UK visa is possible. Just do it properly.
For UK so there young court because UK's we politician are very powerful UK Parliament or the same be Ababetuja. So recently a vlogger Scanty explores and call a northern part of Ghana. So there's this particular lodge lodge a Molly Park quite to say or call no vlog a day 7,000 cedis if you want to sleep here. Now many people are reacting and a Scott Bolshevik Wababe reacted to this. Now, Osha, yes, can't teacher and say what 7,000 cedis a night gets you inside Zaina Lodge. And when Papa said they be that Tiha, UK Nini said this is really bad because 7,000 cedis for what? And Ocho said this is luxury, no doubt. But the funny thing is, you spend 2 nights here, the same amount can take you to Ghana. From Ghana to South Africa or Botswana, you experience real game reserves, stay in top hotels for 2 to 3 days, and still come to Ghana with change. And a UK politician and parliamentarian Abisa say, what is really happening? Because this is too expensive. This is definitely too expensive. I say fine, luxurious, but then this is expensive. And Chebiana Oliver Baka Vomowo, also the UK citizen, but a UK Ghanaian citizen. And Obe Posti said, last year I was helping a friend to find a property to rent. The property was listed as 10,000 Ghana cedis for rent. It was out of his budget, but he liked it. So we were trying to get the landlord to accept 90,000 cedis for it. But sadly, someone was ahead of the queue and got it. It's a year later. The property is back in the market and is listed as $1,500, nearly 17,000 Ghana cedis. At the time, it was 10,000 cedis. The dollar was 16. Meanwhile, the dollar equivalent will have been $625. Today, the dollar is 11 cedis, meaning the value of the rent should have been about 7,000. Something is broken about Ghana. I can't put my finger on it, but it's not working. It's not working, la. Inti Oliver Bakavon also because last year na down for be epe baby atina na baby omunya na 10,000 cedis a month. What I say, which means a year no ebe 120,000. Okay, no problem. But then omo share ye no omu say no. Sa 10,000 cedis a month. No boy heading. It's no omu ni efra ne kasa ni efra na 9,000 cedis a month. And efra no so they be and chebia no be den ebeje property no ena otu asa 10,000 na a year later no omukọ no say property ya na ye current ya ye dia obi abeji no aba back on the market ye ko share price now price no increase to $1,500, which means we equivalence na 17,000 Ghana cedis no bisa say ba ni say na dollar akọ form ena prices are now pricing in dollar no kra no you see a dollar na from tianka pricing $1,000 na $1,000 way back a 16 17 160,000 and dollar na ba fama I was say yes somewhere around 10,000 or so, but then dollar na from it no may increase no by more fold and I'm saying increase the price no and also we HS Ghana no it was big problem and in sema or the tuja and as UK politician we so or sound so bad obe posti a response to all of these things are so and I'll say everything in Ghana is priced 2 or 3 times higher, which is why poverty is so high, disposable income is very low. Even food 80 cedis you can or see even food 80 cedis can buy you a pizza in Ghana, but if you convert the same amount of money into South African rand, it can buy you a large pizza with change. And a yes called Bolshevik ebe posti say bibia wa Ghana bia no prices no 2-3 times higher. And utama ohia adokroye inte aduane a obedi kra opeso di pizza kra na 80 cedis going to mean to pizza, which is true. Opeso di pizza now failure 200 cedis so 200 180 and cry a large extra large we got 300 your toppings. What man say but if you convert that same money 180 cedis no o convert here maybe $18 or so o the cost South Africa scheme o betimi dia top pizza kese ato drink emensa ka ekrom ha ebe yi na che. I was telling someone say Ghana enye ye bie me era maka Ghana enye ye bie just a select few. Those who are rich will continue to be rich and it's going to be like that till thy kingdom come because chrono enye ye be catch us politicians but Charlie ekru ni nye ekru ne nkoyi ekru ni nkoyi ekru no de nkoyi. So that is the issue involved here. Obiaye den eka ho asem. So ade a say odwe ho kra onti ase, and we are looking at this case very closely more update. But before the yen share in summer and anything summer esa UK women yi or share say dintia UK embassy e bounce Ghana for.
So what are Nigerians doing that Ghanaians are not? Let's talk about UK visas. Nigerians are not getting approved because they're lucky. They're getting approved because they prepare their applications differently. Here's the difference. 1. They tell a clear story. When they apply, their documents match their purpose. If they're going for school, the school fees, accommodation plan, and bank statements all align. No confusion, no guesswork. 2. They don't hide their money. A lot of Ghanaians try to borrow money for their statement or inflate their account at the last minute. Embassies see that immediately. Nigerians show real income, even if it's not plenty. Consistency is stronger than a big balance. 3. They explain their ties back home. They show their job, business, family responsibilities, basically why they will return. This is the part many Ghanaians skip. 4. They invest in proper guidance. They ask questions, they get help, they don't guess and hope for the best. So the real question is not why are Nigerians getting approved? The question is, are you presenting your case clearly? Your approval is not about luck. It's about clarity, consistency, and your story. If you want help preparing your documents the right way, send us a message. Your UK visa is possible.
For yen twaso me no ka say a UK citizen or some parliamentarian or the bibia babe tuja, and people are saying, so what is he trying to say? Because in some more can come so we don't know if this is a warning say kudita bc and Mahama should be careful. Or say I believe that someday a revolution will erupt across many African countries against capitalism. Capitalism a form of a friend is saying governance. It is a bibiano, things are owned by people and individuals, and everything in the country is more like a business, and it has to make profits. It's capitalism. It's like I say, Ghana, how we practice both socialism and capitalism. Social capitalism, yeah, you're mixing up. But then some countries like US, a pure capitalism. So everything, individuals own money, they own guns, they own business, they control everything. Unlike other socialist countries and a communist country like China, basically the wealth is concentrated or centered amongst the people, and amongst one centered amongst the government. China the wealth for the government and the wiskapa control the socialist and a communist state. Now, Papeyi Ota reacted to many Ghanaian politicians. Osha updated the kind of no new Oliver Bakavomo Ghanaian no more having some exchanges. Then what say one day, or believe say a revolution will erupt amongst many African countries against capitalism. They are practicing it Ghana because the system is harming the continent. New leaders will emerge, promising to dismantle it and implement a more suitable system that will succeed. So according to him, very soon we are going to see change. We don't know if this particular change, if Ghana is going to be part. Remember, I said this man has been saying a lot. In fact, across social media, or tackle Akufo-Addo or tackle Mahama. On there, to him, the politicians, they have a big problem. We don't know if this is UK or CIA trying to warn us ahead of the time. Well, it is very scary because Mahama Kra now be making pronouncements say he's afraid that could happen if things don't change in Ghana. Let's move on. Me no can say Nedwoko or Nevidana Daniel so much trendy yepa. Now, Papeyi, as you can see, ni yere ba ko owo on ne pia te say enije na emu na eye update aba say ni yere na on ne wo ho de dance na Regina be kan ho is Regina efim no. Ma many posty pictures seen that is on for Eko. And that work was about posty Wabek Kasa, a whole lot of things about Regina and how Regina used and dumping and Sembibri. But then yen share a year negre I friend Leila Charani or posty a picture of herself together with a year Nikuno and no ena Ghana ni go posty say, "Ow, you've been missing this for long. If only he loves you from his heart. We pray he doesn't marry another young girl to console himself, or maybe he will manage you." It's Ghana ni posty way ena Nedwoko negre And on into what did San Regina be join us, San Regina a divorce no. Or say, I will welcome the new wife. I'm here for him. And I also and obi so ebe posti say we fi see boy Cubana or say una done by Viagra for weekend. That's lies. Don't believe anything on social media. It's nipa ni bisa say oh papa ni yesi ni hu ni ho. I so you see Viagra also enye no kre. And na obi sambe post say real cap mistake or say yes. Just that yours or suggest that it's obvious that you are alone, you are happy. Please look at his face, make him smile before posting. Papa no question in mas ni nje for seno. And or you be say we are every day together, I swear. In some way and of course. But I told you say Nedwu Kwankasa no aku make a certain pronouncement. Brana on youth be kasa. And some of the things he had to endure a brana on Regina Daniels and some of them it is pretty scary. But then you see the man deep down in his voice. This is a man who feels hurt, and a man who wanted to do everything to make sure that at the end of the day Regina will be there forever for him. But unfortunately, the age gap for Regina it was too much, and it looks like Regina our no the open Ane Emma who say ninji bium. So Becca said who say money can't really buy love. In the end of this, Papa didn't send Bibra Tuja. It's a video of about 15 minutes or so. Papa ranting kasa bebre obi of course call the chamber for Rafi. They are done any explanation. And obi post say go explain tire. You go explain tire. Yeah, show video here babaka it for yabetuaso.
Just between the 10th 11, 10, 12, 13. This place, I don't know, why do you choose this place, by the way? Is it where you normally meet? Yes, sir. Wow. But do you know that Regina also chose here for you for a decade? Yes. They took this place for 4 days, and it was 4 days of partying for them. It was 4 days of drinking and smoking and all that goes with it. I can tell you that. Quote me. Okay? Because we have the evidence. You know, as a lawyer, I don't say things that I don't know. I work with evidence. You understand? We have evidence, and I'm saying that because both of you they say, okay, when you talk to somebody like me, you know you're not talking to a normal person, yes? I'm not a normal person. Don't think I'm normal like you, if you know what I mean. Because I have a level, I have a standard. You understand it? So I don't talk anyhow. The fact that they were here between the 9th that they checked into the 13th or so, and they had drinks and drugs, is documented. Documented. And we have written police statements to that effect. The fact that they also had fights with the owners of this hotel and guests in this hotel is also documented. You were there, even with you. May God bless you. Have I met you before? Please tell them, have I met you before? No. In one of those days, Regina called me and said that he blocked the two gates. And that I should call the police commissioner to make sure that nobody leaves the hotel. I said, for what? Don't tell me to do that, for what? He said that her doctor came to see her, and the husband slapped her, and that because of that she didn't want anybody to leave the hotel or go inside the hotel. He said, you can't do that. You cannot do that. It's only in Nigeria you get somebody with a warped up mind that will think they could just come to the hotel and block the hotel. Maybe some of you will do it. But I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. So I told her I couldn't. That she told me that they used some of her cars. She had about 6 cars. Yes, she had 6 cars. But she, huh?
2 branded cars.
Well, I'm just saying that she used the cars to block the entrance to the hotel. So I told her to make sure. But of course, she didn't do it until the police became involved. She didn't remove. I mean, they blocked it for hours. Over how many hours?
About 2 hours.
Yes.
Because I was here. I've told you before.
No. Look, let me tell you. Whether you like it or not, I'm not saying things to please you. And I wouldn't say anything to, because I don't know. Yes, I know some of the faces here. Because some of you are, I know you. Yes? I've asked you before. You look at somebody that I know. Yes? Who else knows me here? I mean, one-on-one that I've seen. Yes? You're from Asaba. That's why you know me, yes? You are a cousin, yes? And you too, yes? Who else? Who else? You? Yeah, don't make side comments. Because I don't need to be here, but I'm here. I'm here to talk about life and respect. But we should title today's meeting as Life and Respect. So the police became involved, and some of them were arrested. Gina's brothers and sisters were also arrested. Her friend Fina was also arrested, wasn't she? Why am I? You know, I told you about interlude, isn't it? So that's an interlude, just to understand why you brought me to the same place. Why all that happened? Why did you bring me to the same place? But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We are here now. But do you understand why I had to talk about it? In law, it's called similar fact evidence. You understand? So let me continue with the introduction. About South Pole here. South Pole or Antarctica. Who does? I told you that today you will learn something from me. South Pole is the end of the world. It's the most dangerous place to be in the world. Onitsha is not the most dangerous place. Neither is Ajebule. No, even Medugri. No. Well, the most dangerous place to be in this world is called what? Antarctica. And inside Antarctica you have South Pole, like in the middle of it. The temperature in this room is probably about 26 or thereabout, yeah? Does anybody have a temperature monitor here to tell us how many? It can't be more than, it's about 25, 26 here in this room. The fridge in your houses or your flats, the fridge, that is the deep freezer, not even the fridge itself. The deep freezer is about -1, -2. Maximum -5. Antarctica is -100. Oh boy. Just for you to understand, it's -100. That is not Antarctica, not Antarctica, South Pole itself. So getting to South Pole is like you get to Lagos, you get to Nigeria, you get to Lagos, but you are yet to come to Abuja. So I have the record as being the only black African to undertake this dangerous journey. And I hosted our Nigerian flag there as the 13th country, 13th country to ever make it to South Pole. Has anybody Googled it? Huh? But no, don't worry about my page. Somebody might be lying to you. My page, I don't do my page myself, my people do it. Just like my Instagram, people do it. Regina used to do it, but now... Am I speaking? Yes.
Getting inspired.
So to get to Antarctica or South Pole, you must be adventurous. And you must have a sense of danger. You know, like a soldier. Soldiers, like the new Chief of Defense Staff said last week. He said that a normal person will see danger and retreat. Soldiers will see danger and move on. They go in. That's like my life. I see danger, I don't retreat. Retreat for what? You live only one life. So you're gonna, you have to learn to be strong. You have to learn to be steadfast. And that's my driving force in whatever I do. I remember when I wanted to go on that trip, people said, but before we left Cape Town, South Africa, they got us to sign a disclaimer that if we die there, that they will leave our body there. Because anybody that said that every year they organize like about 2 or 3 such trips. There are no flights like regular flights. There are no roads, there are no airports, there are no hotels. It's just wild ocean, what do you call it, ice, surrounded by ocean. So they got us to sign a disclaimer that if we die, that they will not be held responsible. I signed it. I signed it because I wanted to be different. And so I went and I came back. So if you have a record like that, why am I telling you this? I mean, look, if I were to be a white man in England, or an Indian man in India, or an American, I would be a national hero. You will know me because of that. Won't you? You will know me because of Paris Club. That's what some of you say, oh, I don't know you. I don't know you too. Wow. Well, let me tell you, in Africa, amongst presidents, they know me. You understand it? Amongst presidents, amongst members of parliament, they know me. I might not be known by the Gen Zs because your focus is different. Isn't it? Your focus is different. But are you going to remain Gen Z for the rest of your life? Yes. Your children will soon take over. Your children will soon take over from you. So what does